Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
At the 77th Senior PGA Championship, Rocco Mediate takes the early lead thanks to a history-tying opening round. And with that, we welcome you to Golf Central here on a Thursday night. Saw some great golf this afternoon in Texas. We got golf across the globe. Ryan Burr along with Tripp Eisenhower, Brian Bateman. And guys, let's get to the big story of the day, and that would be Jordan Spieth. How would he respond after a woeful Sunday just a couple days ago? Spieth right out of the gate.
Well, another place he can sleep in his own bed, and when you do that, Jordan Spieth off to the quick start, birdieing the first from 20 feet.
20-footer is good. Second hole, once again, not in the fairway, which was a problem last week.
Drew a good lie in the rough there. Controls his distance beautifully on this really short hole at Colonial, the par 4 second, setting up a birdie putt.
So 2 holes, 2 birdies, 2 under goes Jordan Spieth.
Now we're in the middle of the horseshoe, and the 4th hole, well, this putt, well, it doesn't horseshoe, but it is a 4. The 3rd hardest hole of the day gets another player.
And it falls back to 1 under. Jordan now once again not in the fairway at the 6th.
A lot of approaches here at Colonial. You have wedge in your hand. You have to take advantage of it. And here again, he draws a good lie out of the rough and controls his distance, once again leaving another birdie putt.
In the season of Spieth in 2015, these were just about gimmies, not the case in 2016.
Yeah, and just to show you that it's just a game of inches, because this was a great putt. He thought he made it, and last year, as you said, Ryan, they're going in, and, well, this year they're not.
He stays at 1 under. Jordan now at the 9th.
Tripp, these were the putts we were seeing him make last year.
Indeed.
Perfect read, perfect speed.
And making them again today. So 2 20-footers at 1 and 9. Spieth back to 2 under. Here he's at 11.
Well, yeah, 296 all the way back to the hole, but a beautiful 3-wood from the fairway. And Jordan Spieth, well, we see this time and time again. One of the best pitchers and chippers in the game. That sets up easy work for a 4.
Yeah, makes another birdie, moves to 3 under, now at 13.
I think that's the best golf swing of the day right there on a difficult par 3 over water. Pins way over on the right-hand side. He held it against the wind beautifully. One of the best shots we saw all day long.
And once again,
we're seeing signs. We're seeing signs, Ryan. Yeah, but and we're seeing Jordan Spieth burn the edges once again.
It almost seems to be better from outside 20 feet, and here's another case of that at 15.
Yeah, he's always been a tremendous lag putter. You saw the ball hop right there off the putter face. It still almost goes in. I like his aggressive speed, though. The greens were slow today.
And he would go on to make par there, stays at 3 under. That's where he would finish today, still in the top 10. And when you think that Jordan played in the afternoon, which was the worst of the conditions with the winds picking up in the Fort Worth area, it was a heck of a day for Spieth, a day he gladly would take, as he spoke with our Scott Walker.
Jordan Spieth talked last week about playing some more boring rounds of golf. This was a round where you looked like you had a little bit more control, maybe not off the tee early, but certainly more control of your golf ball.
Yeah, certainly. That was a solid round of golf given the conditions this afternoon. So extremely pleased with somewhat boring golf. I mean, even though we had 40 feet plus on a lot of holes, I mean, it was so tough to gauge the wind correctly and get the ball close to the hole. So on a day like today, you're just really looking to hit greens in regulation, be as stress-free as possible. I felt like we were.
You're going to have conditions in the morning. You might get rain, but certainly not the winds that you had earlier in this round here in round 1. What's your excitement level about being able to play Colonial in those conditions?
Yeah, very excited. You know, we played Lift Clean in Place today, and it was about as firm as a golf course as I've seen this year. But you know, you just never know with the weather in Texas in May. So, you know, it was supposed to thunderstorm this afternoon, and the sun came out. So, not really sure what to expect for tomorrow. I know it'll still be difficult conditions. I've come into this week looking at these difficult conditions as a positive to try and get some more, you know, abstract shots, stop thinking about my swing and just more play ball flights. And it worked today, so looking forward to it.
I'll tell you, a lot of people really tuning in today to see exactly what they got from Jordan Spieth. Because, guys, just think about the last 3 times we've seen Jordan and what we got. Of course, we got the Masters meltdown on Sunday, misses the cut at the Players where he couldn't make anything, and then the disaster Sunday at the Byron Nelson where in contention and completely lost his swing again. The chicken wing becoming more and more of a talking point, Trip, and maybe more than that, people starting to wonder if last year was a fluke.
Well, last year was no fluke. Jordan Spieth is something special. He's got a lot of different intangibles that even when he's a little off, and I just want to show you what his swing is just inches off. We're not talking about much for Jordan Spieth, and a perfect example was the 14th hole today. A beautiful drive, wind left to right. He's trying to draw it up against that wind, and there's the miss to the right. So we're going to slow this down just a little bit, and there you can see the transition. No problems there. Leading with the lower body, the club is planing out beautifully. That is much like what we saw last year. Here is where we're going to see the difference right there, because last year that club would have been a frame and a half closer to the ball. The ball would have been gone. The right arm would have been extended, matching the club up to his turn. That's what we mean by the club being behind it. And, of course, there's the chicken wing, Ryan, you mentioned, but don't worry about that. That's more of a reaction to Jordan, because a lot of players, when the club's marginally behind them like that, will flip the club and it will go to the left. What we've seen this year is a slight miss to the right. It caught up with him at the Masters. It caught up with him a little bit last week. He's fixing this. And what he said today, and the one thing I really like, Brian, is he said, I am not getting golf swing oriented. I'm more ball flight, ball shape oriented. So that means he's doing the work on the range. He and Cameron McCormick, they will get this right. That's the beautiful thing about their relationship over the years. They don't do a lot of big changes. This is a small, minor change. He'll get this right.
I think more than anything, it's his transition. And we were talking about this before we came on the air, that his driver swings, it seems to be, gets a little quick from the top. But the iron swings, for whatever reason, he has more control. That particular swing was not one of his best. It was a heavy crosswind. He was trying to hold the ball. But I'm with you. It's the little things. We're talking about splitting hairs here between playing well and not playing well. I mean, he did hit 14 greens today on a very difficult day at Colonial with the wind blowing.
And maybe the most remarkable thing out of everything that he's done, and last year was truly remarkable, but you think about the game, the swing, the two-way miss he was fighting at the AT&T Byron Nelson, and to contend with maybe a C or
and at
D
Augusta.
game.
At Augusta. He almost won the Masters.
It is a great point to just how good, once he figures this out, he will likely be again. Let's continue with the highlights now at the Dean DeLuca Invitational. And we pick things up with Kevin Chappell at the 10th.
Well, he's quickly becoming the best player yet to win on the PGA Tour. I think one will come soon. He keeps knocking on the door, and that's opening the door right there. Had 8 hole outs for the year, or for the season, I should say. That's number 9.
Heading into the chapel because the prayer was answered. Here's Bill Haas at 8.
A lot of green to work with here for Billy Haas. All the way across the green, your typical chunk and run. You have to chunk it and run it and read it, and he did.
Everything going in. He gets to 2 under, does Bill Haas. Stay with Haas at 16.
Yeah, well, there will be no chunk. There will be no run here. This is a beautiful golf swing. Bill Haas has just got all the tools to be a major winner on the PGA Tour, and sometimes his attitude may get a little hot, but there's no reason to be hot there. That's the second closest shot of the day on the difficult 16.
And he finished the day tied for 9th at 3 under. How about Webb Simpson with the putter making a move in the afternoon?
Yeah, toughest hole on the golf course, Ron, and he's really struggled with his putter, and that was just a beautiful stroke.
And Webb Simpson playing in a much more difficult afternoon with the wind up, making a move up that leaderboard. He'll get to go in the morning now. At a huge advantage for Webb, you would think, as we take a look at all the scores, and really the cream rising to the top. Some big names on that leaderboard, including the likes of Jason Duffner, who's really revitalized himself.
Yeah, he has. And Patrick Reed's on the outside looking into the U.S. Ryder Cup standings, so he's got some extra motivation.
Now we have news from out the golf course as speculation continues to swirl about a possible return to the PGA Tour for Tiger Woods. The 14-time major winner threw a little more chum in the water as Woods has entered the Open at Royal Troon as part of the process to be eligible to play in that tournament in July as entries closed today. Tiger did the same thing with regards to the June's U.S. Open in Oakmont, and the last we heard from Tiger, he maintains there is still no timetable for his return, but he would now be eligible to play if indeed that is where he wants to be. Still to come, we head out to a major championship on the PGA Champions where Rocco Mediate goes super low. Plus, John Daly had a 16th hole to remember. You don't want to miss Big John. You'll see it straight ahead on Golf Central.
Golf Central is brought to you by the Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Make a difference in your game. Golf Now, millions of tee times, free GPS, and more. Download today.